Hello, welcome back to a new Unreal Engine video. Today we're going to take a look at some quests and maybe go on an adventure, maybe. So what we got here is we got a structure of a quest, we have a primary data asset of a quest, and then we have a component of a quest giver, which is going to go on our actors to give us some quests. We'll have a quest component, which will go on our player. We'll have a custom object of a quest. We'll have a folder for our child classes of this quest. We'll have an assets folder for all of our data assets from our primary data asset, and then our actors class, which will be various quest givers and quest completion actors will go in this folder. So to get started in the quest, we'll have a name, a description, a class, and a quest objects. And so these are going to be all of the stuff that's going to be needed to at least construct a basic quest. And so for the primary data asset now, we have just a quest list here, so this will just be a list of those quests. That's all this is going to hold. We'll have the quest giver. The quest giver here is fairly simple. It's just going to hold a quest object here, the primary data asset quest here, but it doesn't have a default value, so you can just set this up for whatever you want your actors to give you quests for. So the quest component is really where all the meat and potatoes are here. So we'll just go over this for a quick second, but first the quest here is just a simple custom object. It'll hold our quest component here, and you'll notice all these are going to be instance editable and expose on spawn for our quest component. That's going to be the one that's on the player, not the quest giver. The name and the description, and it has a few custom functions here. One's going to be an init, one's going to be an on quest object spawn. So when we spawn an object, this is what we'll get. This is so we can actually just reset any transforms, because when we spawn the objects, we're just going to spawn them at 0, 0 and just call it a day. And then we'll have the quest take care of everything else. And then we have one for the destroyed. And that's pretty much it. So back to the component here for the quest component right here. So this is where all the meat and potatoes are. We have the give quest function here, which is our custom event, which is going to take in a quest structure, and it will check to see if this active quest, this is an object of our quest object here. So we'll just make sure if we don't have anything active, we will construct a quest object, and if we already have a quest active, we will add it to this backlog of available quests effectively. So what happens if we don't have an active quest? Well, we'll take in that quest, we'll construct that quest object, we'll pass in all the parameters from that data. So we'll construct the quest, we'll make the active quest equal to this one. We will bind to an onComplete. The quest here, custom object, does have an event dispatcher onComplete as well. I think I forgot to mention that, but it does have an onComplete, so when it's done, it'll dispatch that. So we'll bind to that complete, and we'll just set the active quest to nothing. Right here, I'm just printing something out for debug purposes. So first, we'll spawn the active quest, and then we'll spawn all those quest objects that we pass in. And that's why I was saying that we would need to override the position, but this is a custom function over here, and there's also an auto-generated function you'll see here as well. But we'll take the active quest, and then we'll call the init, and then we'll just print something out. So as far as the spawn quest objects go, it's just going to take in that list of actor classes that we want to spawn from effectively our data asset when we want to spawn quest, and we'll just spawn the actor at 0, 0. We will bind to onDestroyed, and we'll do this auto-generated function. And what this auto-generated function is, this one's just going to handle sending that onDestroyed function call to our quest. And so when that's destroyed, what we'll do is we will then just set the onSpawn object. We'll call that onSpawned object, because you'll see in one of the subclasses here for the goal, for example, when we spawn the actor object here, we will set the location, but and then on destroyed, we're just going to do a quick class check here. You can do a cast if you wanted to, or whatever you want to do. Since this is just going to be a custom goal class, we're just going to check to see if it's a goal. If it is, okay, fine, we'll just handle it. But you'll probably want to add more complex logic, of course. So once we spawn all of our quest objects and we set up all of our quest state, basically that's kind of what the class holds. So if you're a stateful based questing system, this is kind of similar. What you want to kind of do is hold an object and make sure that its state gets updated. So with this quest goal, like I said, with this, we have a data asset that is set up something like this. So with the name of goal 1, description, goal 1. Now, of course, these names are going to have to be all unique, because if you saw in the backlog here, or available quests, it's actually a map to the names. Now, if you want to, you probably want to compare the active quest name as well. If you pick up a quest, you want to probably check to see maybe if you want to keep this a different way. But for now, I'm just going to use a map just for example purposes. So make sure that if you do it this way, that the names are all like unique, or you might end up overriding it. So anyways, we'll be calling this quest goal class, which the quest goal is this one that's going to just spawn and configure our objects. And then this one's actually going to be a BP goal. And what this one is this is an actual custom actor. So that's goes in our actor list for one of our quest objects that we're going to spawn. And all this is going to do is this just has a static mesh, an arrow, and like a box collision so we can get the collision. The collisions here are, well, this is a trigger collision, and then it's just the regular box collision with an arrow here, scaled, so it kind of just looks like this, and that's all it is. But on the component overlap, we'll just check to see if the thing that's overlapping as a quest component. I'm not doing it anything specific, so you probably want to change this up as well. We'll just check to see if it has the quest component. If it is, we're going to destroy that actor, because remember, we're binding on one of these quest actors being destroyed. So that's what's going to happen. So now when we plug everything in with this goal, oh yeah, the goal has the quest giver here, or not the quest giver, the start here, the quest giver here has also a start one, which holds our quest giver here. And what this is going to do is just going to hold our primary data asset, or our regular data asset, for our simple goal. And on this overlap, we're going to do the same thing, just check for the quest component. And then what we're going to do is we'll just grab a random quest from this this data asset, and then we'll give that quest to the player. Effectively, we'll just give that quest, and then that'll construct all the objects and do everything it needs to, and then it'll just be destroyed. And so now if we check out this example, we hop right in. If I go ahead and grab one of these boxes, you'll see we've started, quest started, goal 1, and that box spawned. Now if we go over to this box, now you can see it's pretty stable. And we'll see quest finished. And if we go over here, we pick it up, goal 1, it's back. We can pick it up here, and it's finished. And if we check out if we try and pick up both of these, well, since we didn't check the name, this should be in the backlog of available quests on the player. So if we take a look, we can see available quests. We have a goal 1, and then this you'll probably want to add some UI over this and things like that to get it to automatically set up, or click on the quests that you want to have active. You might need to also construct something that creates like a switch for quests. There's no real switch here, so you would have to finish the active quest or some way of completing the active quest before moving on to the next one. So maybe that's something to keep in mind. But for a simple system like this, just to get you started, that's pretty good. So I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.